What's up guys, it's Dan. Welcome to another episode of Guitar Talk. Roll that intro. What is up everyone? Today I am here with Geraint, who is here in the studio. He does some of our setups and repairs and bits like that. So seeing as he's here, I thought I'd rope him into doing this review with me. Today we are looking at the Epiphone 1962 Joe Bonamassa signature ES-335. I normally kick things off with the body, but seeing as Geraint is here, we will refer to him as G for the rest of it because it's easier for you guys, and I know he likes it. Geraint, you can kick things off with the body of the guitar. Let's make use of you.
Okay, cool. So we've got a classic 335 body shape, 5-ply maple body, solid centre block, burst buck of 2 and 3 pickups, Maestro tailpiece. In terms of controls, 2 volume, 2 tone, CTS pots here, switchcraft switch, switchcraft jack and Mallory caps.
Awesome. Heading over to the next side of things on this, we've got a one-piece mahogany neck with Epiphone Deluxe tuners. It's got an Indian Laurel bound fretboard, 22 frets, Graphtec nut. It's a 12-inch radius with a 24.75-inch scale. In terms of the sounds and tones that you can get out of this guitar, it is a very sort of classic, everything you would expect from a 335. There's no push-pull pots or anything like that, so it's just straight up humbucker, 2 volumes, 2 tones, very bluesy. So if you're looking for Strat style, funky kind of tones, this probably isn't the guitar for you, but in terms of big cleans, crunchy tones, nice bluesy tones, this thing has got it nailed. Obviously, it's a Joe Bonamassa signature based on his first 335 or 335 that he used to record his first album. It nails, yeah, it nails those tones perfectly. It is a great guitar for that kind of stuff, and you can push it into the higher gain territory as well, and it handles that as well. So setup wise, straight out of the box, I really like the setup on this. The action is not too low, not too high. Obviously it's not an Ibanez or anything like that, so you're not going to get drastically low action on this, but it feels really playable. Now Geraint, obviously you are a luthier, repairer, guitar setter-upper and all that kind of stuff. So what do you think on the setup of this straight out of the box?
Straight out of the box, it's been done nicely. The frets are found well, the action's nice. Overall, they're relatively smooth. Could do with a little bit more of a polish. Fret ends, always a bit of a bugbear for me, and I think these could do with maybe a little bit more attention to detail, especially at the price point. Having said that, the binding's been really nicely applied. Again, the action at the nut is good. Action at the 12 frets, again, is good. So overall, yeah, it's really good, but a little bit more attention to detail, it could be absolutely stellar.
There you go, he goes into more detail than I do. I will admit, along with Geraint, the ends of the frets on this, overall when you're sort of playing, you might forget about it, but if you run your hands up and down the side, you can feel there's a few little frets there that just are a little bit on the sharp side. Nothing that's going to like cut your hand or anything like that, but you can definitely feel it. a little bit of a fettle and you're good to go. So finishing wise, straight out of the box, for the most part, this has been done really, really well. I can't see any sort of blemishes on the guitar or anything like that. The binding has got a little bit of bleed on it, which might be a bugbear for some. As I say, for the most part, it's been done fantastically. One thing that I will say is I would have to take it apart to investigate a little bit more, but the neck pickup is at a really weird angle, and the pickup screws are sort of sticking up a little bit on this one. They don't seem to want to go down, and the actual pickup seems solidly in place. It doesn't look right to me, and I would imagine what's happened is the center block is possibly a little bit too long in this one, and the pickup is possibly sat on top of the center block rather than in there. So I don't know if you can lower this pickup, and it is right up there. So that is a little bit of an issue with this one, something that we'll look at. But other than that, to me, it's been done very, very well. Garen, any thoughts on the finishing on this one straight out of the box, build quality, that kind of stuff?
Yep, so agreed completely in terms of a little bits of bleed on the binding. The neck joint's been really nicely done, actually. Again, picking up exactly on the same problem with the neck pickup. I'm wondering if they've actually installed the pickup surround the wrong way round, hence why the neck pickup is actually tilting that drastically. Something we can look at. I think the fretboard inlays have been done really nicely. Again, very little build-up of any kind of filler around them, so we've done that really nice and sharply. So that's superb. So yeah, overall, really nice.
I guess one thing with the bleed on the binding is when you get something like a Gibson R9, obviously this is based on a 62-335, is when you get like a Gibson R9, they simulate the bleed on the binding that you would have got where it's like rubbing in the case and all that kind of stuff. Now, I guess they might argue that because this is based on a vintage instrument that they are mimicking that kind of bleed and stuff that you used to get. I'm not sure what year they changed the finishing to stop that from happening, but I guess you could say that you're paying the kind of price that this is to get that kind of vintage
authenticity.
Yeah. Or they messed it up. Either way, it's there on this particular model. If you've got one out there, by all means, let me know what yours is like.
The jury's out.
So just a little bit of an update to the video. Obviously we mentioned about the pickup issues and that it was sat really high, like it was sat on something that it shouldn't be. Garen, what did you find when you had a look?
Looked like the pickup was just caught on the inside of the bezel, so essentially it was tilted at the wrong angle. Sorted it out, reinstalled, no problems.
So there we go, it is absolutely fine inside and everything like that, and the pickup is sitting a lot better now, as it should be. Something that should have been caught in the factory with the QC when they marked it off, and not something that you should do when you get a £1,000 plus guitar out of the box. You shouldn't have to do that yourself.
Very true.
But it is sorted and it is sitting nicely now. So that brings us on to value for money, and would I pay this much for one of these? This is where it gets interesting for me, because I think in the UK they're somewhere just over £1,000.
£1,249 at the moment.
Okay, so quite a bit over £1,000, and obviously they're limited edition, so It's not like they're going to go up in, once they've sold out, they're sold out unless they do another run later on. But it's definitely getting right up there in terms of price for what you're paying for, I don't want to sound snobbish, but an Epiphone guitar. Mm-hmm. To me, this feels a lot like the Epiphone inspired by Gibson 335s. I can't remember, I don't think they've got like a one-piece neck on those and stuff. So there is some quality upgrades, like you've got the Gibson pickups and that kind of stuff, but the inspired by Gibson 335s are like £500, so this is an extra £700 on top. It's nice, as I say, that you've got the Gibson pickups, you've got a branded Epiphone hard case that it comes with, which is very nice, but it is definitely getting up there for an Epiphone guitar. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, largely I agree there. It is a lot of money, and it's going to be a really, really hardly fought sort of price point. You've got second-hand things like Gibson Midtowns, which aren't too far off.
That is a very good point. Gibson Midtown's a great hollow body guitar, USA made. Obviously, you've got the extra thing of it being a Gibson, which is more desirable. Mm-hmm. You can get those for, I've seen them as little as 1,100 quid.
Yeah, so that's it. And of course, you've got nitro finish against the poly on this one. Okay, you don't have a sort of like limited edition factor. You don't maybe have the sort of like collectability.
One thing for me that I would really love to see at this price point, because this is like a guitar that's over £1,000, is you've got the Laurel fretboard. And I've said in reviews before, like Laurel, it does what it does. I'm never a massive fan of the Laurel fretboard. At this price point, I would have really liked to have seen just like an Indian rosewood fretboard or something like that, rather than the Laurel fretboard. I know there's import issues in some places with rosewood, but there are still a lot of guitars that are being made with rosewood fretboards. So the Laurel fretboard on this, at this price point, I would have liked to have seen rosewood.
It wouldn't have been pushing a boat out too far to get a decent rosewood fingerboard on there, would it?
Yeah. But, obviously there's a lot of downers to say about the guitar at this price point, because it is an expensive guitar at this price point. Mm. It is a great guitar. Obviously it's got its little niggles with like, it could do with a little bit of a polish on the end of the frets, and we need to have a look at what's going on with that pickup. But it is a fantastic guitar. It's just whether or not I would want to spend that much money on one.
Yeah, out of the box, if I was spending that much money, I'd really, really want to see those few little things addressed, personally. But get that sorted. It's a superb player. It's a really nice guitar. It's really vibey. And you're not going to see so many of them about.
Would I play one of these live? Would I be happy to do it? Now, it depends completely for me on the kind of gig that I'm playing, but if I was doing like an all-rounder cover set that involved doing loads of different styles, then you could get through, but it's not going to be the most tonally happy experience. If someone handed me one of these for a sort of bluesy kind of gig or something like that and said, this is what you've got to play, I would be more than happy to know it's going to get me through the gig absolutely fine. G, any thoughts?
Blues, rock, R&B, anything along those lines is going to be very, very happy. Indie styles, no problem. Alternative rock, it's going to do it. Get down to the funky stuff, maybe not so much so.
So So to sum up, very, very cool guitar, a nice addition to the Epiphone range and the various Joe Bonamassa signatures that have come out. On this particular one, on the guitar itself, there isn't really anything apart from the model name that says Joe Bonamassa, so if you do not want people knowing you are playing a signature guitar, you are all covered there, apart from if you've got the case, because it's got his name plastered all over it. Great guitar, as I say. It's got its little issues, its little niggly points, but nothing that probably isn't solvable. Geraint, thoughts summing up?
Overall, really cool guitar, really vibey. It sounds great. Listening to you playing it earlier, again, you can make it sing. Again, so could Joe. So overall, I think it's a superb guitar, very unusual, and it's going to be a really good addition to somebody's collection.
Cool, so there we go. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Have you got one? Did you buy one? Did you find the same things that we found in terms of the way the pickup and everything is sat in the body? Other than that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.